Hey, what's up, guys? This is TBone here. Welcome back to another episode where I'm going to be talking about legendary game of heroes. So it's been a while. In fact, it's been about 2 months since I made my update video where I announced I was going to stop playing the game. I did make one more after that when the NFT was introduced by the network team. And, since then, I have been playing other games, and so far, I've been focusing on Gemstone Legends. So if you've seen the videos, thanks for all your support and thanks for reaching out to me with the comments and the feedback. But I think one thing that I have heard a lot has been, people miss the weekly streams. They miss the weekly streams where I talk about the deck and give them ideas and just kind of, talk about the cards. And so, one of the reasons why I started this channel in the first place was to help the community, also to kind of share ideas. And I do miss that a lot. And so it's been a couple of months. I thought I would come back, take a look at the cards, and see what it's like. See if anything has changed. It's been pretty much an entire cycle, where a cycle is the 10-week period that starts with the Water Slayer and ends with the Fire Commander. My last event that I played was a Fire Commander event, and as it happens, this is now also a Fire Commander event. So let's take a look at the cards. I'll talk about them, give my take on those cards, and talk about ideas for what you could use. And then we will see, how it goes. And just to make a quick announcement, one thing I do plan on doing is I will probably start doing this in a stream format again, starting next Tuesday. Today is just going to be a video. I'm hoping to keep it, 10 minutes or so. So hopefully you watch the video, leave a comment below, and let me know your thoughts. And love to hear from you. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the cards here. You can see I'm actually using BlueStacks because I'm on my alt account. As you can see, this is my rank 18 alt account, not my main account. I have not logged in to that one in a while. I was actually kind of expecting to see if I would get... it doesn't look like I got it. I was wondering if I was going to get a free deck, by coming in after like 2 months of not logging in, but it doesn't look like it. All right, let's take a look at the store. So we'll see, and, let's take a look at the cards. And right now, it is going to be a Fire Commander event for Fire Noble. Okay, so we can take a look at the ultimate form here. This is going to be Brothers in Arms. It is a noble killer, as mentioned, and so there are going to be other cards that will be useful here, and we will start by taking a look at the skills for this card. So the battle skills Supreme Law creates 14 Power Gem 7s. Okay, so the last Fire Commander deck also created Power Gem 7s, so glad to see that they haven't jumped it up to 8 or 9s. But this one will increase Fire Commander damage by 120%. So that's a really good amount of damage boost for all Fire Commander heroes. The highest previous to this was a 100, and so this is just going to give you that much more damage output. However, there is no passive gem spawn capability here. It's just straight up battle skill, 14 power gems, 3 turn cooldown, and that's it. So pretty straightforward. Except for this passive ability that, converts all earth gems into fire gems at the beginning of every turn. To me, I've been thinking about this one since I took a look at the cards, and it seems a little bit interesting to me. I'm not sure, first, what the use of this really would be, except for the potential for sometimes, maybe doing a little gem crush here and creating a power gem here. Otherwise, you're not really going to have a problem charging the cards with 9 gems here. And, with 14 power gem 7s, you're never going to have a problem charging. And so, there's nothing else that says, like, if you do an attack, you will gain additional boost or anything like that. And so this passive ability to me seems, I'm not sure what the benefit would be, but it's going to convert your earth gems, so you're going to have almost always have some fire gems to use. The other passive ability, Partial Affinity, gives you immunity to attacks every 5 turns. Now, in an event itself, I'm not sure that immunity is really going to make that big of a difference because I have an experience where the boss hits you so hard when you have the ultimate form that you need that immunity. But if you want to use this in a GVG fight, for example, this is where it could potentially be useful, where you could time your attack, so maybe you can delay for a couple of turns, and on the 5th attack, you can try and do as big attack as you can, and then still survive even if you miss. So I could see that potentially being useful, but with it being every 5 turns, aside from the Guild versus Guild, I'm not sure if there's any use out of that. I'm not sure you're even really going to notice it, to be honest. And if we take a look at the the counter skills, there's actually two now. So counter skill, there's Chaos and Blind. So Chaos and Blind aren't really going to be too big of an issue here. They're really just going to be annoyances, but they won't really impact your gameplay. They're not going to make it difficult for you to kill bosses. Blind will maybe make you, miss the hits here and there, but it's not going to be as big of an issue. So now let's take a look at the Master Collection card and the Ultra Rare card. So the Master Collection card is the card that you see in the Shiny Collection. Okay, so if you go into the Shiny Collection, the card that looks like this, that's the Master Collection card. And this is going to be King Gilgamesh. So King Gilgamesh increases Fire Commander damage also by 120%. Okay, 3-turn cooldown. And it has a passive ability that gives you immunity for enemy attacks every 5th turn. So here's an issue I have with this particular card and the way it's set up. Number one, it doesn't create any gems whatsoever. Okay, and so it's just here just to give you damage boost. And if that's the case, there are other cards that are going to be much better suited for this. Okay, and I'm going to talk about those. The second thing is immunity isn't something that's stackable. Okay, so it's not like you can put all these cards that give you immunity and put them all together, activate them all at the same time, and then you have multiple immunity. No, it only works for that one turn. And so because it's passive, it's always going to activate exactly the same turn, so you can't stagger your immunity. And so as a passive ability, doubling up on this becomes useless, so to speak. And so I don't actually really like this breakdown. I'm not sure that I like this being the setup. I would have liked to see the ability to convert Earth Gems to Fire Gems on this card, so it has at least a little bit more utility. If it's just pure damage booster, it feels like, kind of a waste. It's not that useful as a card if that's the case. And it dispels blind, so there's really no good use for this card at all. Like, I don't see this card being one that you want to multiple of, because like I said, other better options than this for sure. Now we take a look at the Ultra Rare card, Enkidu. Enkidu is the one that will also create Power Gems, okay? And so you double up with the Ultimate Form. Now you have the Power Gems, 28 altogether, lots of gems to crush into higher Power Gems. And you also have the damage boost from your Ultimate Form. The passive ability gives you a conversion to Fire Gems. This is one I was saying, like, I think it should be flipped between the Ultra Rare card and the Master Collection card. And it also counters counterattack. Now, being the Ultra Rare card, and being the only one that will counterattack, this is the one that's going to cause problems, because counterattack can kill you. If you're hit with counterattack and you attack with, you're going to lose health and you can die from it. And so this is also considered a buff to the boss. So you want to look for cards that can say dispel all buffs. When this condition happens, there are quite a few cards that can do that, and so you could use this to easily get rid of it. It's not too big of an issue. So counterattack is something that can be removed if you have the right card for it. Now let's take a look at the remaining cards for this particular deck, and that's going to be the event card, which is Avatar of Shamash. So Avatar of Shamash will increase self-damage by 60% for 3 turns. We've seen similar cards that do this. So it's just going to be a card that will deal a little bit more damage on its own. And it resists 50% of damage every 6 turns. Now, this is the card where you can double up. You can have 2 of the avatars, okay? And then together, they will give you a full 100% damage resist. And so you'll basically be immune to damage if you have 2 of these cards. So this is the card that you can double up and be effective. Whereas with the Master Collection card, once you have more than 1 card, it doesn't really make a difference. Same idea. Having 3 cards here isn't going to give you 150% damage resist. It just doesn't work that way. Right? It counters blind as well. And so that's what you can expect. Finally, we have the support card, which is going to be Wild Warrior. If you take a look at the skill here, it creates 12 fire gems. Good. Cooldowns 3 turns. Very basic, just as you would expect for any support card. And then the passive ability heals for 3000% heal recovery only when you gem crush. Because it's a warrior card, if you take a look at its recovery, it's very low. So you're not going to heal very much at all, given the health that you're going to get for the card. This is going to be very negligible. Like I've always said this, and it's still the same. These support cards are not very useful because they're not going to give you any power gems, so you're not getting anything out of it. And then the event card, it the event card actually is also not very good because this card doesn't give you any power gems. So if you think about this deck as a whole, oh my goodness. As a free-to-play player, if all you get is the support card and the event card, that is, you are just creating regular gems. You're not even dealing with power gems. You're just not even power gem 2s or 3s. You're dealing with 0 power gems for the event card and the support card. So my take on this deck is I'm not sure I like this. I'm not sure I like the way that this is laid out. Okay, they give you a lot of power at the highest level at the ultimate form, and then when it comes down to the bottom at the event card and the support card, you basically are getting not very good cards. So it's not going to be very good for you. And the nice thing here, which I think is a little bit of a saving grace, is the past ultimates. Okay, if you take a look at the past ultimates, one thing that is going to be available for you in the Proving Ground store is the Exalted Champions. So you can get this in the store. I'm going to show you right now. If you go into the Proving Ground, you will see the option to get the cards for Exalted Champions, and this is one thing that I would recommend if you haven't already. Obviously, I think that you should take a look at these cards. I still think that these 2 cards here for Visions of the Void is still a good option here. But really, what you want to be able to get is one of these 2 cards, and the first one of the 2 that you should focus on is going to be Berg. So Berg gives you power gems. It's not power gems 5s or anything like that, but it does give you the commander damage boost. Okay, it gives you 65% damage boost for all 3 turns, and then afterwards, then you can get the Courageous Crusader. This one does give you Power Gem 5, so you're going to have a little bit more power overall, but having a Power Gem, boost, not Power Gem, having the damage boost is going to be helpful over the long run. You definitely want to try and plan to get the ultimate form here. Okay, it is also going to be available, I think, in a Drillfist Depot at some point, and so it is going to be an ultimate form that is worth getting. The other thing I mentioned is, if you have some of these other cards that you can use to dispel counter attack, like I said, only the ultimate form, only the ultra rare card has the ability, which is unfortunate. But I think that if you have, Immolating Fae, for example, which is going to be this deck right here, it will cleanse as well as dispel. Okay, so Immolating Fae, really, really good card. It also gives you a damage boost. Okay, so this one will give you a boost of 50%, but what's the main thing here is it will dispel 1 buff from the enemy, and then you can get rid of counterattack that way. So I like putting in Immolating Fae against all bosses that have these kind of really difficult buffs, like counterattack is going to be one, armor is going to be another. Another card that I think will be really, 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 really good to use if you have it is going to be the previous Fire Ultimate, and that is going to be the Heretic Hunters. I actually did have this deck. Super strong. I remember in the event I did play, just using this deck and the previous, other fire decks that had the damage boost, I was able to get, really good scores. Because what this deck does is it gives you a power gem upgrade by 2. Okay? And you get 14 power gem 7s. You upgrade them by 2, but then the thing is it only increases its self damage. So you needed other cards to give you the damage boost to really be effective. But now what you have is if you have this event's ultimate form, that's going to give you 120% damage boost. Then you get another 275 for itself. Heretic Hunters is going to be a beast. Okay, like true to its killer skill, it is going to be really good for you to use. It does increase the fire gem drop rate, which is fine. It just gives you more gem crushes. This is going to be a really good card to use. If you don't have this card, you can also use I think it was the chefs, right? It was the chef's card that is going to give you also upgrade, but it's going to be a Slayer card, and so that is going to give you less damage overall. But the thing is, if you can get gem upgrades plus the damage boost, you're going to get a ton of damage in place. It's also a really good gem spawner, and so you're not going to have a problem with getting really high level power gems. That's going to be the name of the game. It looks like it's still similar here. You're going to get your power gems. You're going to get gem upgrades. and then damage boost, then you should be fine in this particular event. So do I think that this ultimate form is really necessary? As a deck, I would say that if you have the Heretic, if you already have the previous one, if you have Heretic Hunters, if you have Exalted Champions, and if you have any of the other ones, like for example, also this one right here, Altian's New Guard, like these are staples. These are the best Fire Commander cards still, right? Based on what I've seen so far, yes, the current ultimate form is going to give you that, that 120% damage boost, but it is comparatively weaker, like significantly weaker in my opinion compared to some of the other cards, just because as a whole package, this deck isn't really all, it's really, I would just say average. Okay, and so is it like a must-have? In my opinion, probably you're okay. If you have the older ones, probably you're going to be okay, especially since with Exalted Champions you're getting the same leader bonus, right? Noble Killer bonus, you're going to get the same at 900%. You will, be missing on the 120% damage boost. That is going to be the case. But like I said, like I kind of feel like, you have the previous ones, and this just seems to be a little bit lower in terms of like, desirability for me. Not a bad deck. Don't like the way that the event card and the support cards are laid out. But otherwise, as an ultimate form goes, it is a good card to have, but not a must chase for me. Okay. And so that's pretty much, like my take and my reaction to this particular deck. Let me know what you think. Let me know your comments and feedback below on what you would go with, what what boosts you're going to go with, and what combinations you come up with. And also let me know what you think about this video. Like I said, I'm also going to be in a live stream next week, so be a lookout for that. All right, that's gonna be it from me for today, guys. Thanks very much. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.